I think that's cool. Hey guys, just doing a little ironing. I don't know why, I just thought it would be a fun way to start off the video was by using a iron that my aunt used to use when she was a little girl. And it was 7 pounds, one of those ones you had to heat on the stove and then iron. This is a lot of work. This is 7 pounds. I tell you, she must have had muscles when she did this, because this is not easy. I can't imagine doing this all the time. So I'm going to actually move over to the modern convenience, which is, oh my god, this is like a light as a feather now. I just wanted to mention really quick why ironing is such an important step, because especially with something like rayon, it doesn't look like it really wrinkled. So you might say, well Jen, why not just throw it on there and cut out your pattern pieces? It's really not wrinkled. But if you look at it, it does have just a really light wrinkles in it. So I want to get this as smooth as possible so that when we cut out our pattern pieces, they're as to the pattern size as possible, so they're not wonky a little bit. So I'm going to keep ironing with the modern iron, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Okay, so one other tip that I wanted to share with you guys while I'm ironing is these pieces of fabric can be really long. Sometimes it's hard to manage the ironing process with it being so long. So what I do, especially because I have cats in the house and I definitely don't want to get animal fur all over my nice clean ironed fabric, is I actually, let me show you, on both sides of my ironing board I place a chair. So on this side I have all the fabric that's yet to be ironed, and as I iron it, I lay it onto this chair as well. So it never drops on the floor, so that way it doesn't get any cat hair on it while I'm in the ironing process. Our fabric is now ironed. Okay, so what I've done is I have cut out really just loose and casual around the pattern piece itself before I actually am going to cut on the size line. Because you'll see here for this size that's 22, this is a 20, it's an 18, and that's a 16. So when you're cutting it out, you want to be sure that you're following your size pattern. Before we actually start cutting on our size line, the most important thing we need to do is sit down with your measurements. Now, my measurements, my bust and my hips actually fit a size lower than my waist. So what we're going to do is when it comes to the part of the dress that concerns the bust and the hips, I'm actually going to cut the smaller size out. Then when it comes to the bits that go around my waist, I'm going to cut for the larger size. So to do that, the first thing we need to determine is what all these pieces are for. So right on this one, it says number 3, and it will say it right on the pattern piece here. It says it's piece number 3, and it's the bodice back. Also, in your instructions here, it will show you as well what each piece is for. The other thing that you're going to see in the patterns are things like this. This means that's the bust line. And here it's showing us that this, and this is on piece, the bodice lower front, number 2. And this is showing that this is the waistline. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out my pattern pieces how they would lay on the body. So here we have the bodice back. That goes up here. And then we have the bodice lower front, which go down here. The bodice upper front on the top. And then we have interfacing for the belt. This can just go to the side for now. Then we have the guide for the neckline. That goes up at the top. We have what is this? This is the neck binding. That's going to go up the top too. We have the extension prolongment. Number 8. I'm going to assume at the moment that that is for the belt and put that over to the side. We have the shoulder pads. I'm going to put that underneath the camera. We have the padding, which is for the shoulder pads as well. Those to the side. And then we have the skirt. So the conundrum we have is that this is the back of the dress, right? This is the front, assuming it's going to go a little something like that. And then this is the lower front. So this is that runching, and this is like the abdomen section. So the question is going to come in. Obviously, this is going to be cut at the smaller size because it's the bust line. This is going to be cut at the larger side because that's the waistline. The question is, what do we do with the back? Because the back kind of covers these two pieces. And what we're going to do when we cut the back. Alright, so we can see this is the top of the bodice back. And then we can kind of see where it jogs here for the waist. This is where, when I'm cutting this down, I'm going to go with the smaller size. And then when I get to here, I'm going to switch over to the larger size. Alright, you want me to make this even more complicated? My waistline, not only is it the larger size, it's actually 2 inches above. So, that we have to take into consideration too. Ding, 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 ding. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually write on my pattern up at the top. I'm going to write the size that it's going to be up here. So I remember when I'm cutting what size each one has to be. Now for the skirt, again, my hips are smaller, so, and I'm not too worried about, okay, like this being, because my waistline is larger, because these have gathers, and as long as we're following our bodice back and our lower bodice for sizing, we'll be fine as far as the waist is. We're not going to end up with not enough in the waist. So I am going to do this at the lower size. So, as for the extension piece, there's no sizing on this, so I'm just going to cut it out as is. Then when it comes to our belt, obviously this is going to be at the waist, so I'm going with the larger size plus my 2 inches. The neck binding is going to be at the smaller size because that's going to be going up around here. Again, I'm just writing that on there. Same with the guide for the neck. It's going to be smaller size. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out all my pieces. I want to talk, before I cut these out, about our plussing, because this is the size, the larger size plus 2 inches. I'm going to actually cut it out right at that larger size. Then I am going to add those 2 inches with an extension piece, or I might do kind of a split and expand it a little bit. I'm not quite sure exactly how I'm going to reflect those changes. So I'm just going to cut the pattern piece right to that main size. I'm not going to worry about my +2 right now. And the way I like to cut out my pattern pieces, everybody's a little bit different. I like to use my rotary cutter. I don't know why I'm standing up. I like to use my rotary cutter and my flat ruler. I like the see-through rulers because you can see what line you're on. And then I on these curved bits, I just cut a little bit and rotate. Just like we did in the last dress, nothing really has changed too much in the way I do this. Hey, Bubs. Just making sure I cut the right line. So there, so I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and continue cutting these pieces out. As always, an easy way to show your support of Vintage Vanities to click thumbs up. Let me know you like what's going on, and if you haven't already done so and you want to know when new videos are posted so you don't miss a moment of this dress being created, go ahead and click on the subscribe button. That'll let you know when new videos are up. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye.